1019 KACQ.
Good afternoon. I'm Casey Chapman here with your local Lampasas area news. This newscast is a service of Hoff Power Ranch and Supply. It was a little easier for LPD yesterday. It stayed quiet throughout the early morning hours. Then dispatchers sent them out on a report of suspicious activity in the 900 block of East Avenue D in the mid-morning hours. Another vehicle burglary was called in, this time in the 1200 block of East 3rd, and officers rolled out on a reported theft in the 1900 block of Grand Canyon. A fraud case was worked in the 500 block of East 3rd, and dispatchers sent them out on an unauthorized use of a motor vehicle in the 800 block of North Key. One disturbance had to be cooled off in the 400 block of East 5th, and officers responded to a reported assault in the 1300 block of West Avenue C around 8 last night. No arrests were made by the city. The county booked in a 48-year-old Goldthwait man on a commitment charge. Lomita worked the civil matter. Kipner had an animal complaint and a couple of medical calls. County deputies swept up a wreck, responded to an alarm, worked a civil matter, and went out on a fishing game call. The burn ban has been lifted until 5 p.m. on Monday. Stick around, more Lampasas local area news is coming up next.
Ran into an old friend the other day, lives in a town about 40 miles from here. Hadn't seen him in a long time, glad to renew the acquaintance. After talking old times for a while, I asked him why he was in town. Said he came here every so often, mostly to go to Hoff Power's Ranch and Supply to pick up feed or renew his feed contract. Really, I says, do they treat you right? Oh yeah, he says, I check around on prices here and there, and they're right on down there on cattle feed, especially if you contract it. Store inside's pretty good too, he says. Get your blue jeans or a pair of boots if you need them. Better selection of clothes and ranch stuff too than you can find around here anywhere. Pretty good recommendation, I thought. Hoff Power's Ranch and Supply in Lampasas.
The energy sector hopes for no new restrictions as the state legislature gets back to work.
Like just about every sector, the oil and gas industry recovering from the economic fallout caused by the coronavirus. Todd Staples, who heads the Texas Oil and Gas Association, says the energy sector paid $13.9 billion in state and local taxes and state royalties in fiscal year 2020.
1.37 million Texans' jobs ultimately derive from the oil and gas industry.
He says the sector has been on an upward trajectory and state lawmakers should resist changes. There have been calls for increased taxes on production to close the budget gap. Michael Board, TSN News.
In Monday's Lampasas School Board meeting, the board voted unanimously to extend the joint election agreement that Lampasas City Council also voted to continue in their meeting. The agreement allows for the city and the district to share election costs. There was a special request to increase the budget by over $13,000 that was approved. It was noted during the meeting that an overall attendance rate for the district averages just short of 95% so far this year. The board also voted to provide additional paid leave for all employees of up to 10 days, effective last Monday, to be used for COVID-19 related absences. The toughest role of the state legislature is agreeing on a budget. The one piece of legislation the Texas Constitution says it has to pass. TSN's Chris Fox reports that now that the opening ceremonies of the 87th session is over, the budget battle looms.
The billion-dollar revenue shortfall could mean cuts to one or two of the most important expenditures the state makes.
They're going to have to come up with more money to cover just natural growth in education and healthcare demands, or engage in a de facto cut.
Rice University political scientist Mark Jones believes the state's educators are probably nervous.
How deep that cut is depends on where they can come up with other money in terms of revenue or find other places to cut spending in health and human services, public safety, or higher education.
In Austin, Chris Fox, TSN News.
In sports, the now 15-1 varsity boys kicked off district play last night with a 56-60 victory over Stephenville. The JV lost another close one, 44-40. The loss puts them at 5-6 for the season. Lady Badgers hit the brick wall once district play started. They're now 16-5 after losing to Stephenville last night, 63-39. Now 0-3 in the district. The Badgers will be opening up against Glen Rose on Friday. Boys on home court, Lady Badgers on the road. The games can be heard live on KCYL with 6 o'clock tip-offs.
For your COVID-19 update, yesterday's estimated active COVID numbers around the region reported from the state shows Bell County down 26 at 3,055. Coryell County revised their numbers down by 107, putting them at 695, with 337 of those being inside the Coppers Cove city limits. Burnett down 19 with 198 active cases. Mills down 5 with 56. San Saba down by 11 with 65. And Hamilton down 2 with 84. Here locally, as of yesterday morning, Lampasas County was reporting 69 active cases, putting the number of total cases at 1,131. 10 remained hospitalized, and the fatality stands at 15. 1,042 county residents have recovered from the virus so far.
Thank you to our viewers for watching. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for the Coaches Show or tune in to 101.9 KACQ. I'm Casey Chapman here with your local Lampasas area news.
1019
KACQ.